Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mumia, Obsidian Ali. You know who I am. I need no introduction, right? And you're listening to the Grown Man Hour with my man Bernard Riley, heard weekdays right here on YouTube. What do you think about that? How about that? Now let's get back on with the show. Thank you.
All right. Here I am. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on in today. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on in. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Put one in the chat if you can hear me. You should be able to hear me. Send out some links really quick, and we're about to get this thing going. Obsidian been driving this point home about when chicks try to put you in the friend zone, the way you counter that. Yeah, sure, I'll be your friend, I'll be your buddy, I'll be your sympathetic listening ear. I will be all of that at a cost. That's what that's where he's going. That's where he's going with that. That's the topic today. He wrote an article on the Negro Manosphere. I just sent a link to Obsidian, so that's done. Push one in the chat. Okay, I see the ones. Y'all can hear me. All right. Shout out to the early bird squad. Those that come in and drop a comment bright and early before we even get things going. Appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to Logan JJ in the building. Says green car relationships are the best. Really? I could imagine, possibly. Never did a green card relationship. However, I was in a de facto relationship. I don't call it a relationship because I wasn't exactly claiming her like that, but I was in a de facto relationship with the woman who her visa expired, apparently. I didn't know that at first. I didn't know that I was harboring an illegal immigrant at first. I was breaking the law. Well, she didn't live with me, so I'm exaggerating and joking, but that was a somewhat of a thing that, she was illegal. She was an illegal immigrant. I was too, for lack of a better word, stupid to figure it out. I was too stupid to figure it out, but after a while, I figured out that, okay, she don't work a regular job. She don't drive, even though she knew how to drive. Well, according to her, she knew how to drive, but she didn't drive. She didn't, every time she went somewhere, she was always with somebody else. It's like she made sure she didn't, it was almost like she did strategic things, so to speak. And this was back around the time, I think when me and her first started dating, Barack was in office. Then after Trump got in office, she got real nervous. She thought it was going to be over for her. Because a lot of people who were going in to try to go get legal, they was getting sent home. They was getting sent packing. So the process that she was going to go through to try to get legal, she thought that when she went there, they was going to be like, hey, why did you've been walking around here with an expired visa for a whole year? We sending you, getting you the hell out of here. And you get caught, you can't come back for, I think, 10, 15 years, something like that. So, yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing that, she was worried about. I have no idea what's her situation now. I haven't talked to her in been many moons since I've talked to her. But yeah, She was illegal. She was illegal. JR in the building says, "What's up, Riley, Obsidian, and fam?" Shout out to JR, the Mac the Trucker in the building says, "Let's get it." Deacon Dave in the building says, "Excellent debate, BR with SKC." Yes, it was an excellent debate. I definitely enjoyed it. I recommend you go over there when you get a chance to the Prophet of Thought series and listen to the debate. It was really good. It was really good. I definitely enjoyed it. The next time, well, I haven't said this to SKC, but the next time that me and him do that, we're going to send each other our sources prior to the debate so we can examine and review the information, because in those type of debates it's easy for somebody to throw new information, something you just haven't read. It's like, it's not like you can't shoot from the hip a lot of the times, responding to an article or a finding or a study that you just haven't heard of, because there's new findings, articles, and studies every day. So that's one thing we would do different. you know I gather my data and my sources, I send it to him. He gathered his data, his sources, his whatever, he send it to me, and then we both can review it before the debate. That way it will be more of, because there was some time, the only parts of the debate I didn't like is times where he was saying something, I hadn't read the article, and so he was saying, yes, it is. And I'm like, no, it wouldn't. Yes, it would. That's the only part of it I didn't like. I would rather us, well, I would have rather been more precise on that. Shout out to him. I won the debate. I did win the debate. I won it by a close margin in the vote. But I do give him props. I would say he was more prepared than me. I was prepared in the opening speech. My opening speech was impeccable. But as far as the question and answer round, and to some degree the rebuttal rounds, he was more prepared. He had a strategy all the way through. So he definitely did good. He definitely deserved his props. I edged out a small victory. I think I won by 1 vote. Xavier said I won by 2 votes, because I don't think he counted somebody, because somebody voted. They didn't just vote with an S. They said SKC wins. And I think he's a Nazi about that. If you don't follow his directions, your vote don't count. But if we count that particular vote, then yeah. So I think I won by 1 vote. But I definitely give SKC all the props in the world. All the props in the world. Give the audience props too on that, because it was once upon a time, black people in a black space couldn't come in here talking about evolution. I mean, it was a time when pitchforks used to get brought out for that kind of stuff. So that means black people are thinking outside the box, a little more open to science, which is good. So I definitely greatly enjoyed it. Shout out to SKC. Shout out to SKC. But we got 95 people in the building. Let me go ahead and hit the like button myself. Can't be the last one to hit the like. We about to close in on 100. About to close in on 100 people in the building. Hopefully Obsidian is aight, because I sent Obsidian the link just recently. And we're about to get into it. Oh damn. Oh yeah, see, I already did. Yeah, I did hit the like apparently. 92 people in the building, only 37 on the likes. That is pathetic. Or was pathetic. So let's get the likes up even more. We should be comfortably over 60 likes. Comfortably over 60 likes. So let's go ahead and get that up. Black Savant says, yeah, some people can't separate evolution and the Big Bang from their faith. Yep. That is a thing too. I was glad we didn't even get into that, because sometimes in those debates what end up happening is the person on the side of not believing, or that doesn't accept or believe that evolution took place, they will get into they'll go all the way out into the cosmos, start talking about the Big Bang, or they'll start talking about what is known as a biogenesis, and start talking about the mere fact that scientists, they don't know how the first life got here, and we're talking about little microbes, single-celled organisms. It's still a mystery. They're still trying to figure it out. They're still trying to figure out how you go from chemistry to biology. They got some good ideas. They got some really good ideas, but as far as full-blown smoking gun proof, they don't got it yet. They can do some little stuff. They can mix some chemicals and elements and mix some stuff together and make some amino acids, which are the building blocks for life, but they can't just full blown create life. They're trying to play God and they're failing at it. So they don't know exactly the conditions, the exact oomph that made life possible. They don't know it exactly. And sometimes we can get bogged down with that one. But really, that's not evolution. Evolution is what happened once life is here. It's a completely different field of science when they're studying how it got here. So I thought we was going to get bogged down with that, but to his credit, we didn't. He didn't go back to the Big Bang. He didn't go back to to how did it get here to begin with. We stayed relatively focused on how did it evolve once it was here, or rather, it's been evolving, or to what degree it was evolving once it was here. So that's why it was a good debate. And I didn't charge him up with being some religious zealot. We kept all that out of the debate and just kept it pretty tight. So it was good. I definitely enjoyed it. Highly recommend you be subbed to the Prophet of Thought series. Highly recommend that. But that friend zone thing, I've been there. I've definitely been there. We've all at some point was dealing with a woman who we were pursuing, and she more or less gave us the Heisman, but didn't do it in a very strong, stiff way. It was more like it was a soft Heisman. Were you feeling like it's hope? John Davis says, where is this debate? It is on the Prophet of Thought series. Just type in the Prophet of Thought series, and then you should be able to find it. Shakanulu is saying it right. You put yourself there. That is technically true. I don't think no man can ever say that he's. You could say that you've never been in the friend zone, but you can't say no woman has ever tried to put you in the friend zone. And it's a tricky thing. And this is why it's tricky. This is why it's legitimately tricky. Women normally friend zone the guy. Well, I think by definition, they would have to be friend zoning somebody who they had at least some romantic interest in at some point. Because if she never showed you any romantic interest and you never shot your shot, that's really not friend zones. I mean, it is, but that's not what most guys are talking about when they're talking about it. Most of the time, the friend zone takes place when you try to holler at a chick. You tried to get at her and you failed, but she kept you around. You kept coming back and she kept you around, and you weren't being aggressive about shooting your shot. It normally starts out with you trying. Maybe you're being too indirect, but either way it go, she was at some point somewhat interested. I'm assuming that in many cases you may have asked this woman out on a date and she said yes. So there was a small amount of potential romantic interest there at one point. And then it just dropped down into the floor. And then you ended up in the friend zone. But I don't even consider it the friend zone. Let's just say if it's a coworker that you never really tried to holler at, but y'all work together, y'all see each other every day, y'all can't help but talking. I just kind of got cool. I don't really consider that friend zone. I only consider it friend zone in you if you legitimately tried to get at her and you failed. Because it was a chick that I was friends with at my job. We were legitimately friends. I never really tried to smash, even though I would have. I would have, but I never tried. And I would, and she was crazy, and I just didn't. I didn't want to, but you know how guys are. We will do it if it came down to it. If she was in the bedroom with me naked saying, "Come on," then yeah, but I wasn't about to try. But we were just cool as hell because we worked side by side. We worked very in close proximity to each other, and so we would sit there and talk. Sometimes all damn day, just cracking up, laughing, cracking jokes, and all of that. But I don't consider that friend zone. I don't. I don't. That friend zone is when you trying, you're pursuing the sex, and she ain't going. Death Razor says, you was orbiting. You know what? It looked like that. I'm not gonna lie. It did look like that, and somebody thought that's what I was doing. And then I kind of like moved my little workstation and started talking to her less because I didn't like that people was accusing me of that, even though this was, they didn't have the beta orbiting thing in their vocabulary, but they did like, and I was like, no, man, if I was trying to get at her, I would just go for it. Don't assume that I'm that guy that's hovering, hoping that I just get a chance to just sniff it. I'm about to hover around her at work for a year, hoping I just get a chance to sniff it once. No, that ain't what was going on. No, it was just legitimately cool. And so you can be cool with a chick that you work with only on the basis that y'all work together and y'all right there seeing each other every day. Y'all can be cool, but meh, I'm not taking it beyond that. But that is a situation where it can happen. It can happen, and I don't consider that friend zone. I just consider that just a coworker who I was cool with. Work have you cool with? You could be a 25-year-old black man mess around and have a friend that's some old wrinkly white guy damn near 60. And y'all just sit there and talk every day, and y'all end up cool. Like situations like that, I don't necessarily. So if you're friends with a woman that you work with, that you have no, you have no choice but to see her every day. Now you could, if you want to be dogmatic about it, you can just go on full mute around her. If you think talking to her is problematic, okay, here's the best example of it. Doing that could be problematic, and I'm glad I thought about this. I'm glad y'all helped me remember this. At the job, there was a pretty elaborate break room that had like a semi store in it. Well, it was technically a store. You grab your stuff, you go check it out by the little checkout thing and whatever. And when me and her it got cool, when I would be on my way to the store, she would ask me to buy her something from the store. The first time that she did it, I actually did it. The first time that she did it, I actually did it just on the basis that, I understand though. I did it once. Let me just say that I did it once. Just on some, I was on the way down there. She was doing something. Those lines could be long. It sometimes could take up your whole break, fucking around down there. So I went down there. I did it once, just on some here. Just we cool. I got you. It was $1.50. I get it back from her on some stuff like that. Catch her when she going to the pop machine. They grab me one, something like that. Then the next day, she did try to do the same thing, and I was like, no. And then another time when I was in there and I was closer to the front of the line, and she tried to go run and grab some stuff and hand it to me. I was like, you got to be handing me some money. And she was like, come on. But I realized there was other guys that she used to do that to. There was the previous guys who she used to do that to. It was women that worked there that had guys that would literally pay for their lunch in the break room every single day. So even though me and her was just cool, just at work cool, that was the at work homie. She tried to flip it around into a situation where it was kind of like I was. She tried to spin it into a situation where I was basically being that orbiting dude, that guy who's giving her, benefits as if we was dating without us dating. She tried to spin it around to that, and I shut it down. So in her mind, she was on the effery. She was definitely on the effery. For me, it was just, hey, we just cool. We at work. We work next to each other. You know, we crack jokes with each other at work, make the day go by faster. That was it. But she was trying to spin it into something else. Because if I would have been the dummy that would have went down there to that break room and bought her some, snacks out of the break room every day, yeah, she just would have rolled with that. She was trying to do it. Like I had to shut her down on that like 3 or 4 times before she stopped trying to do it. So that even then, even though I did feel like we was legitimately cool, she was legitimately thinking, how could I come up on this situation? How can I basically use him like he's somebody who I'm smashing, but I'm not smashing. So even then, when they legitimately cool with you, they still view you as weak. Because in their mind, they thinking, I know he want to have sex with me, but I was just on some whatever. I seriously take it or leave it. And when she wasn't bad looking, but I just wouldn't. I wouldn't about to be that dude. No, I have told simp stories in the past. I have definitely told some simp stories in the past where I have done something similar. I had. Y'all just hell bent on saying I was orbiting. No. No, no, no. Nope. I quit doing that by then. Okay, we got a live one. He's Black. Let's see, Black Sea Doyle. Black Sea Doyle. Just speaks for yourself. I've never been friend zoned. So a woman has never tried to be your friend, or you've never accepted the friend proposal. Which one? Even though the friend proposal is not really a proposal, it's just a gradual thing. It's just a subtle asking of favors until it just becomes normal. I want them to answer, because to say you've never been friend zoned, that's almost to say that you've never been rejected. Because if a woman rejects you, but she finds you useful or valuable in any way, shape, or form, she will try to get the value out of it. She will. She will try to siphon that value. And that's just all to it. If ands or buts about that. So when you say he's never been friend zoned, he could be saying what Obsidian ultimately said one day. Obsidian said he's never been friend zoned, and I know some people said he was capping. I'm about to bring Obsidian up, and he can explain this. I see Obsidian is in the back chat now, but it's the only way it's possible that you've never been friend zoned is if once you saw that whatever your romantic interest in her was, the second you saw that it wasn't happening, you turned and stepped. And that just means that you were just quick on the uptake. Most of us wasn't that quick on the uptake. Most of us, when that romantic interest faded away, but she still was returning texts and still texting and still talking and still, being a little smiley in front of you. In the mind of most men, we say, so I got to get that clip. So you're telling me there's a chance. I got to get that. So yeah, in the mind of most men, we feel like it's still on, but there are some men who were just instantly quick on the uptake. My brother was like that. My brother was absolutely like that. My brother could say he's never been friend zoned. He was a ladies' man. He could say he never been friend zoned, but he can't say that no woman has ever tried it. That's the difference right there. That is the distinction, and I think that's what Black Seal Doyle is getting at or talking about there. But without further ado, we got Obsidian in the building. What's going on?
Hey, Bernard, what's going on, man?
What is going on? Glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Glad to be here.
Yep, another day.
Another episode of our own version of Marvel Team Up.
Right.
I don't know if you ever read that comic book when I was a kid. Growing up, nowadays Marvel is like a household name because nerds truly do rule now. And yeah, Bill Gates ain't a player. He just crushed a lot.
I think I missed some of the story. I saw some headlines. It
Oh,
didn't.
yeah, let me help you. Melinda Gates approved Bill's unusual arrangement with his ex-girlfriend in Anne Weinblad. Let me post a link in the chat room for you. Right here from Newsweek. He ain't a player. He just crush a lot. Nerds for the win again. It's a very comforting day in the neighborhood.
You said it's a comforting day in the neighborhood.
Oh, yes.
Because Bill Gates was cheating.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't cheating, though, because she approved.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. That's absolutely true. No ifs, ands.
So there is no cheating.
No ifs, ands, or buts about that.
About it. She signed off on it. Where's the cheating?
None.
Right there on Newsweek. Link is in the chat room, fellas. Read it for yourself.
Yeah. I heard people like talking about that in passing, but I didn't see the official report. I just heard people touching on it. But so yeah, that was something that I suspected that it look. Kevin Samuels was ahead of the curve. Telling them, yeah, high value men don't cheat. They exercise options. He was putting that out there, and we're going to see more and more situations where that's the case. And that is what it is. Yeah, we're gonna see that. But yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I didn't think that would leak out. How did that leak? Did she leak that out? Or did what?
I don't know.
I am interested in how it got out, because when they did the whole and perhaps there was some honesty in it when they did the whole little spiel about their official word that they put out to the public, but we read that and we was like, man, we sure is something going on behind the scenes there. But I knew it was more to it, but is what it is.
Yep. So there it is, y'all. There it is.
Yep. Yeah, I gotta look into that. Gotta read on it. Gotta gather some more info on that. But shout out to Goodman in the building. He says Madame Noir finally wrote an article on Kevin Samuels due to Dr. Umar's claims of profiting from Black women. He's been on their radar for a while. So there.
Yeah, we got to look into that.
Yeah, they may.
I'm not inclined to give it too much brain power, because to be brutally frank with you, I don't think Dr. Umar really has anything for Kevin in that respect. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll do our due diligence on it, but I don't expect any major anything major to come of it, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I see Dr. Umar, it's kind of like grasping for straws in a sense. So, I mean, but yeah, he still has, a measure of name and fame, and and Kevin is the man of the hour, so to speak. So, yeah, we'll look into it. The Marvel team-up crew of Bernard and the O-Man, we'll look into it. But I don't expect to see a whole bunch come from it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still a weird situation when I look at it and I analyze it, when I see people like Dr. Umar saying anything about Kevin Samuels, and it's an odd situation. Odd is not the right word. I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is. Turning of the tide, so to speak. When people like Dr. Umar Johnson say something about Kevin Samuels, I have to keep reminding myself that technically Kevin Samuels is bigger than him right now. It's like Kevin Samuels can look down at practically anybody who got anything to say about him, and look, Kevin Samuels can respond to anybody if he respond. He don't have to respond. He can do his normal content, but he can just set aside 2 minutes and respond, and more people are going to hear that than than whatever their initial statement was. So that's just a turning of the tide, an interesting dynamic that it just blows me away every time. The acceleration of his success is just it's mind blowing. But good man in the building with the super chat. Thank you for coming through. I believe that's the first one of the day, so appreciate it. Appreciate you. Oh man. Somebody said he said Dr. Umar Johnson still thriving. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it. But here we are. We getting into this thing. You got the article that you wrote. The article that you wrote.
I had to go back and do some revisions on it.
So
yeah. And before we get started, really quickly, number one, anybody who makes a generous contribution to today's show, action-packed show here, will get an autographed signed copy of the Book of Obsidian. Anybody that makes a generous contribution here today will get an autographed signed copy of the Book of Obsidian for your trouble. I've got 25 copies set aside for the enterprise, so come on with it. We're going to do that. And yeah, my latest column over at the NegroManosphere.com, where I am the dating coach for the non-select guy in residence, deals with today's topic. That is the title that you see there on your screen, The Best Platonic Friend Money Can Buy. I highly urge you to read it. It will be in the Book of Obsidian Volume 2. I just talked to my publisher, Book Baby, yesterday. They stand ready and willing and able to assist me in getting as many books out as I can possibly muster. They have a copy of my proposed publication schedule over the next few years. I'm working now on another book that will be coming out in the fall. This time, it's the ladies' turn, and it'll be my first ever book written directly with the ladies in mind. So that's going to be very exciting, coming just in time for cuffing season. So that's going to be very, very interesting. I'm very excited. Get excited, Bernard. Get excited. And yeah, I got that coming up. And what else we got there? Oh, and we're going, speaking of our good friend and brother, St. Kevin Samuels, the image guy. Y'all call him all the Godfather. I call him St. Kevin. He does indeed have a copy of the Book of Obsidian. We talked about it briefly, and he described it. He says, you know, Obsidian, I expect I should have known better because your book is like War and Peace. So it's going to take me a couple years to get through it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he's definitely got a copy of it, and he's reading it as well, and I'm very, very happy to hear that. And since you know, you can barely have a conversation these days without mentioning him, my show, as soon as we get done here over here on Bernard's show, we're going to take it over to my place, where we're going to have a very interesting question on the floor regarding our good friend and brother St. Kevin Samuels. We're going to have a very interesting question that I think everybody is going to enjoy. So action-packed day here at Obsidian Radio, and with Bernard Riley and the Grown Man Hour. It's the Marvel team up of the ages. So just want to say that.
Black Soil is saying, okay, this is somebody who's either, as they say, capping, or somebody just pretending to not understand what's going on here. He says, I've never had a woman that I was involved with. Okay, if involved you mean by having sex with, then no, that wouldn't. It's somebody who you were attempting to be involved with. He says, offer to be my friend. They don't offer to be your friend. The only thing you have to ask is have there ever been a woman who you were trying to get involved with, and then after a few failed attempts of that, was she okay with you still coming around to do things, to just talk to her, to just listen to her, to do this, to do that, to bring her this, to bring her that? It's not about offering to be a friend. It's about having you just linger and hover.
That's a very good point, Bernard. Now, there is a such thing. Now, you make a very good point, because, and this is something I'm going to be talking with when I do get Professor David Buss. The reason why I'm kind of holding off from pulling the trigger on it is because I want to make sure that he's got my signed autographed copy of the Book of Obsidian. I set aside, I get a shipment of books and I set aside a certain number of them to send out to tastemakers and stuff like that. So he's one of them. And I sent him a copy, and I want to make sure that he gets it before I hit him up to have him come back on the show for a follow-up interview from what we did 5 years ago. And what you just mentioned with black seed oil, very good point. Now women will come at you with the let's just be friends. Okay, they'll hit you with that, and that's their way of saying they don't want to be interested in you at all. They don't want to be a friend. They want to get rid of you. So there's that. But you make a really good point. Women don't offer to be a friend per se. What happens is, and this is something we got to own here, fellas. They know that you want to bang them. Right? They know that. And what they'll do is you will make yourself her friend in the hope of banging her. You see? And like anybody will take advantage of anything. If you see $100 bill on the ground, you're going to pick it up. So if they see a ground, or as they like to say in street lingo, presenting yourself as a lick, so to speak. So that's really what's going on there. You made a really good point. That's what really goes on there. A lot of guys offer friendship in the hopes of it being something other than that, and women are just simply taking advantage of that.
Yeah, well, it's not even so much that the guy is offering the friendship. The guy is just being extremely indirect. He's hovering, and this goes right to the super chat that's on the table right now. He says, "Nah, never had a chick make me." You're already going the wrong route. Never had a chick make me linger and hover. She doesn't make you linger and hover. What you're really trying to say, if you wanted to be precise and accurate, is that you have never chosen to linger and hover. Once you realize that it wasn't going down, you got to stepping. That's the most accurate way that you can say it. But a chick would have no problem with you lingering and hovering. Going back to the chick that I worked with, who I was just legitimately cool with. I mean, we shot the shit at the job, and it was cool. But when she started trying to get me to go down to the break room and stand in line and come back with like $3 worth of snacks and goodies every day, that's when she was trying to proposition a situation where I would be doing little stuff for her for little or nothing. So it's almost a silly situation when somebody try to beat their chest about it if they're making it seem like no woman ever wanted you to do that. No, a woman has wanted you to do that. A woman has wanted you to be that guy. You could say that you were just quick enough on the uptake to where you understood exactly what it was and you knew to not go for it. Other guys like myself who wasn't as quick on the uptake, I didn't understand exactly what it was. I felt like if she's interested in me being around her in any way, shape, or form, I should have had that clip ready to go today. In the mind of a lot of men, it's like that Dumb and Dumber clip. So you're telling me there's a chance. Somewhere in the back of the mind of the guy, we operate like that. But some of us was smarter and quicker on the uptake and just was like, nah, I ain't going for it. My brother told me about that. That's how he always operated. He said if he was trying to get with a chick, if he was trying to get with her, and she got on some bull, he said what he would do. He said he would give it one last try, but on some very straightforward, direct methods to just try to. He would basically just put it on the table. Boom, put a hard offer on the table. If she declined the offer, she's dead to him. But he wasn't going to do the hovering thing. So you can't say no chick ever tried to make me do that, or no chick ever had me do that, or no chick ever did this. No, you could just say that you were quick enough on the uptake to not fall for it. That's more accurately what you can say. Deacon Dave in the bill. Well, hold on to the last person.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
And definitely shout out to Deacon Dave in the building with the $5. Shout out to you. Says KS making money from black women is better than them spending the same money on mink lashes. I hate them sheets. Right on, right on. Shout out to Deacon Dave in the building with the super chat. Obsidian, any the last couple super chats that was on the table?
Pardon?
Oh, you're eating or doing something right now.
No. I wasn't eating anything. I was looking at another note. I'm sorry. What was it again?
Oh no, I was wondering if you had anything to add to what I was just saying, what I was more or less saying with Wiggly Talk Universe or whatever.
I never had a chick make me linger in her. No, I mean there are manipulative women. And by the way, today's show is, in my opinion, will be dedicated in part to Alan Roger Curry and to Professor David M. Buss, because both of them are converging. Their positions are converging on one point, and that point is, with regard to what you're saying, there are, as Alan would like to put it, manipulative, time-wasting women, no doubt about it. There are women who will take advantage of you if you let them. He's right about that. He's not wrong. If you let them. The problem isn't I hate to say this is going to sound bad. The problem so much isn't the women. The problem is the men, and there's scientific evidence for this. A lot of guys misperceive sexual interest in women.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, this is science. Number two, a lot of men overshoot their sexual marketplace value. In other words, they may be a 4 and think they're a 6. So when you put the two together,
how did they come to that one? That guys think that their guys are 4s and think that they're 6s.
All kinds of studies, including OkCupid. OkCupid has their own research arm called OK Trends, and they found that men are attracted to markedly more attractive women than they are, and that's one example of a myriad of examples.
But that doesn't mean that the guy that's a 4 thinks he's a 6. That just means he's a 4 and he wants to fuck a 6. But you just showed in the last show that guy who's a 4 will fuck down to a 2. So I don't think you can say that guy is thinking he's a 6 if he's happily smashing 2s.
Happily?
Okay, begrudgingly smashing 2s.
That's just exactly. So I mean, so again, guys will accept less, but do guys desire less? There's a difference. There's a big difference here.
Nobody desires less.
And there's the different contexts. Is it casual short-term sex, or is it a long-term girlfriend? I often put it this way. There are two types of women in this world. The first type of women are the type that you're banging and you don't want nobody to know it. And then there's the second type of women that you're banging and you want everybody to know it.
Mike Vince
Perkins. So what I'm talking about isn't my personal opinion. This is the science. Again, I refer everybody to David Buss. By the way, David Buss has been cited over 70,000 times by scholars. Over 70,000. That's like unheard of in the world of scholars and academia. That's insane. And I say that to say, I mean, this man's work is legitimate, man. I cite it for a very good reason. In the book of Obsidian, I cite him no less than 4 times. So, I mean, he's the real deal. And, yeah, a lot of guys, 2 things. 1, men overestimate women's sexual interests. 2,
that part is true.
2, a lot of men rank themselves higher than what they actually are.
So you agree with Hafez from the roommates now?
I agree with the science. I don't agree with Hafez, and this is the reason why. If you're referring to the discussion, and I actually talked to Stefan Labasi about this, by the way. It's between us. And we actually talked about it. I disagree with the Mayo Lizzo. That is to say, and this is something I'm going to talk to David Buss about when I do get him on the show. So we all remember Lizzo shooting her shot, not just at Chris Evans, Captain America, but also, I can't remember his name now, a number of highly desirable guys. We all know this. And she's been publicly shot down every time. I mean, she's like, 0 for, umpteen or whatever, right? So I want to bring that to his attention. I'm not disputing the science that I just stated. Oh, I can accept the empirical evidence, but how do we explain right now in real time? I call it the Lizzo effect. That is to say, women. It happens. It just happens to be black women, but we could expand it out. But how do we explain women vastly overestimating their SMV? And Lizzo was a case in point that you just can't miss because she's so big. So that's one of my questions that I'm going to come back. Yeah, but that's going to be one of my questions I'm going to come back to when I hit up Professor Buss and have him back on the show. I want to hear him explain that. Okay, we got the evidence for the guys. How do we expect the women? And I'm going to do it. I got to bring in Kevin Samuels on it. We got a year's worth of evidence that any scholar would go gaga for. I mean, this man has got ethnographic research to beat the band. How do we explain it? If we're saying that guys overestimate their value, okay, fair enough. How do we explain the Lizzo effect? How do we explain Kevin Samuels's calendar a year of in-depth, real-time, one-on-one conversations with women who vastly overestimate their SMV? How do we explain that? I'm really interested in hearing what Dr. Buss has to say about that, because this is in real time, in front of everybody on a jumbotron. I think, my personal opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think if anybody overestimates their market value, I think it's women, if anybody. Just going by the eyeball evidence in real time. I think if anybody does it, women do it. That's my personal opinion. But I'll defer to Professor Buss on this.
All right. Mike and Vince Perkins says, all this cap. You can open up a lid store in the chat. Every man got friend zoned. Some catch it earlier than others. Boom. That pretty much summed it up right there.
I'm not in the at risk of sounding like a pedant. I'm trying to so what do we mean when we say friend zone? Do we mean a woman attempts to put you there? Does that count? Or does it mean that you allow yourself to be there in the hopes that you can get a chance?
Yeah, okay. I think most people, and myself included, I count it as once she tries to put you there, once she's in no uncertain terms or subtly in a very vague way is no longer you're no longer on the table to her as a sexual option, but she's still trying to keep you around. At that moment, you've been friend zoned. It doesn't matter how early you catch it. I say she still friend zoned you. It's a difference between you being in the friend zone. You could put up your Captain American shield and block it and then turn and walk the other way. But she technically still friend zoned you. You just blocked it and walked the other way. That's how I look at it. But some people look at it as if you were dumb enough to stay there, then you were friend zoned. But as far as her actions are concerned, she friend zoned you. But as far as your actions are concerned, you didn't allow yourself to be friend zoned. And I think that's some legitimate confusion that some people are having with it. And I think you fall, well, but yeah, based off everything you said, you fall in the category of a woman friend zoned you or attempted to friend zone you. You just put up the shield, blocked it, and walked the other way. I think that's a more accurate assessment of more or less what happened. But yeah, you define it as if you're that guy who's dumb enough, which I have been, dumb enough to stay there in the friend zone, hovering, waiting, just hope, fingers crossed, hoping that maybe you can just get a sniff someday. Maybe you're gonna catch her slipping. Maybe if you stick around long enough, she's just gonna see how great of a guy you are and realize that she needs to get with you. And yeah. I was that dummy. I was that dummy once upon a time. Some guys can say they've never been that dummy, but they've been rejected by a woman who at least attempted to try to keep them around to do other stuff. That's the part that practically no man can deny.
Well, I'd take a different tack on. You kind of got it right. Let me refine it. I take a different tack on it. See, I can't control what other people do. I can only control what I do. So women are free to feel any way that they want to feel toward me. The question is, do I agree or disagree with them? A woman can offer friendship to me. The question is, do I accept it or reject it? So the problem is a lot of guys, and the proof of the pudding, and the proof of this pudding is in the fact of just look at the sheer number of videos right here on YouTube alone that address friend zone issues in a dating context. I was last night, the lovely Miss Danica Marie did yet another live stream on the friend zone. I went back through her catalog over the past year. I found like something like a dozen, I think it is, better part of a dozen videos on it. That's a lot. But it pales in comparison to Coach Corey Wayne, who has done 39 videos on the friend zone. Now, this is just two people in the dating coaching business that have done this. So between the two of them, Coach Corey Wayne and Miss Danica Marie, we're looking at the better part of 50 videos. Now, think of all of the other dating coaches out there that aim their efforts at men. And think of all the content directed toward getting out of the friend zone. That's what it says is far too many guys don't want to accept the truth. And what is the truth? That the vast majority of women don't see the vast majority of men as a sexual option. See, in order for what it is that I'm talking about to work, a lot of guys are going to have to accept that they're non-select. They have to accept it. That's going to be tough. That's going to be hard. Think about the incel movement for a moment. And Dr. Buss does address them briefly in his most recent book, When Men Behave Badly. He talks about it. He does mention the manosphere briefly. I have questions about that when I sit down and talk to him. He does briefly mention them. But what he says in regard to the manosphere, to incels and so forth is true. He accurately captures the argument, which is women are going to a small group of guys sexually. Well, the scientific evidence backs it up. And in the age in which we now live, where women do not need men the way they did in the past, it does raise a powerful point. It does raise some interesting questions. So, you know, the idea of getting out of the friend zone has a 80% failure rate. This isn't, stuff no disrespect to other dating coaches, but I'm going to just go ahead and say this. A lot of people have asked me, well, what's going to separate you from the pack, Obsidian? Science. Especially in the Black American context, science. I don't go on my opinions or what I think about it or how it should be or what life should be or, the morality of it. I go by science, outcomes, empirical evidence. The empirical evidence, the science has proven that getting out of the friend zone, you have an 80% failure rate. Okay? So you are literally, no disrespect to Miss Danica Marie, please forgive me. I'm sorry. The truth just has to be told. Fellas, most of the time, it's a waste of time.
I don't think Danica Marie was saying that it's not a waste of time. I didn't hear her thing, but I mean, it's titled "Friend Zone: The Harsh Truth Men Need to Hear." So I think that she's more or less in line with you.
That could very well be, and if so, then all the better. But what I am saying is that the science is pretty solid on this. Most women I'm going back to OkCupid again. Most women don't see most men as sexually attractive. That's just the plain truth. There's not much that can be done about it. Insofar, meaning that you can kind of turn that around. And, you know, an ironclad rule in my dojo is if you have to convince a woman to be with you, she was never yours to begin with. We don't convince women. We just don't. Courting is trying to convince a woman. We don't do that. We deal with straight on the head sexual attraction. If it ain't there, we accept it and keep it moving.
One question one would ask is that you're the dating coach for the non-select guy. One thing to make you non-select, you're not that sexually attractive. So you're talking about dealing with straight on the head sexual attraction with a group of guys who are marketably not that sexually attractive. How does that work?
Well, that means you don't get any. See, why do we proceed on the assumption that you're owed sex? You're owed a mate.
I don't think nobody is owed anything. I just was saying that.
So what I'm saying is a lot of guys don't get anything. In a 21st century world, a lot of guys don't get anything. Listen, down through evolutionary human history, most men didn't mate. Let me say that again. Down through evolutionary human history, most men didn't mate. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you happen to be the guy on the short end of the stick, that's life. You're going to have to find other things to do. I'm proposing one thing you can do is monetize your non-sexual companionship. You can monetize it. Why not? Because women do need men non-sexually. That's true. And you can monetize that. But that's going to be hard for a lot of brothers to accept. That's going to be hard.
No, but no, they would rather just go ahead and have sex with that 3. That's where they at with it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you like it, I love it. I mean, every woman is a dime in the dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
After you get a get a half a bottle of wild turkey or something like that.
Let me catch up on the super chats real quick. Excuse me. We got Big Said 658 in the building with the $20 super chat. Appreciate you.
I want 150,000. So we can set out of court right now for $20.
Man, get your.
Good morning, gentlemen. Would you consider women in relationships who knows that their male friends are sexually attracted to them as cheaters? Let's say these women also use those men for their non-sexual attention. Thoughts? I, to some degree, would say, yeah. Let me read that again and make sure. Okay. Would you consider women in relationship who knows that their male friends are sexually attracted to them as cheaters? Even if we don't go as far as to call it cheating, it's wrong for a woman in a relationship, especially a married woman, to have some male friend at the job that she entertaining, and she knows that this man is, not just casually observing that, okay, she's an attractive woman, but no, if he's her friend and she knows he's only her friend just because he wants to have sex with her, but so she's doing just enough to let him hover so she can keep getting the at work attention from a guy who she knows deep down is taking a long-winded, long route, indirect way of trying to bang her, then yeah, she's wrong. And she opening up the door for it to possibly happen. So yeah, and I would, yeah, I consider cheating if it's full-blown banging, but she's definitely flirting around with it. So even if we don't call it cheating, we can definitely say she's wrong in my opinion.
That's a very good question, Big Sid, and I know it's a bunch of brothers in the chat room are really going berserk, so I want to address them as well. But that's a very good question. Are they cheating? Now, that depends on whose definition you accept of cheating. See, for us guys, cheating is you having sex with someone else when you're mated to somebody else. It's pretty cut and dry for us. But for women, not so much. Cheating can also mean you having a emotional connection to somebody, even if you never have sex with them. I prefer to use the lady's own rules in this respect. If you already have a man and you got a beta male orbiter that you talk to every day and y'all really have an emotional connection, but you would never have sex with him because he's just not that dude, yeah, you're cheating. You are. If you're getting lots of non-sexual attention from guys want to bang the shit out of you, and you allow that, ladies, and you already got a man, you're cheating. You are.
Yeah, you just convinced me. Yeah, I would call that cheating. Yeah, I would. You just convinced
By
me.
their own rules, they're cheating. See, I love hoisting the ladies up on their own petard. I love doing that. They're cheating. They are.
E Capone in the. Appreciate you, E Capone. Been dropping 5 on it pretty much every day. Definitely appreciate you. Deacon Dave in the building says Lizzo equals poop. Yeah.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Also got Michael Ross in the building. Doubled up with the $2 super chat. Appreciate that.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, there's a number of brothers in the chat room are saying, well, see, by the way, the 80-20 rule, something the manosphere has long been talking about, has finally been scientifically proven. So we no longer have to debate that any longer. It's a matter of scientific fact now. And I think that, a number of brothers in the chat room are saying, well, getting with 3 beats a blank, and there are other brothers who say I'd rather jerk off than get with a 3. And that's just it. That's the trick. It's something that every man must decide for himself. I'm not here to tell men what to do. I'm here to give men the actual information as best I understand it, scientifically, and then let them decide. For some guys, yeah, banging a 2 or 1 or 3 is better than nothing. For other guys, they rather just say, fuck it, I'd rather go ahead and just pound my dick in the dirt. Fuck it. I think that's for every man to decide.
The confusion is not rational. She's a healthy female of breeding age.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm in the latter category. I can't bring myself to do it.
The T800 said it best. Your confusion is not rational. She's a healthy female of breeding age. Onward, Christian soldier. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, but there'll be guys who will look at it that way, and that's for them to decide. There's a brother in the chat room who made a really good point about what I'm proposing will cause a real conundrum for a lot of the ladies, which is that the guys that they want commitment from, they can't get it, and the guys that they don't want commitment from will no longer want to have anything to do with them if there's no money involved. Well, that's a problem for them to solve. That's a problem for the ladies to solve for themselves. That's not our problem. Our problem is getting the maximum amount of financial compensation for our skills and services. That's it. And I suggest that the guys who are the non-select guys bring a lot to the table. We bring a lot of things to the table that women will pay for. So, as far as I'm concerned, hey, ain't no thing. As a matter of fact, I would.
Somebody's asking the question. Somebody's asking the question. Obsidian, are you black pill? I don't think you even do the pills anymore.
I don't know what that is. What is a black pill?
Yeah, I don't think Obsidian play around with the pills like that.
But I consider myself a red pill, definitely. But as I understand it. But I don't know what a black pill is. If anybody can give me a definition of what that is, I look at it. But
Yeah.
I've heard the term before. I just don't know what it is.
I've done multiple shows on it. I've had black pill experts on it, but really the only thing that I could say is it's basically like red pill, just more stringent and hardcore, that's the best way I could explain it. And I even explained it like that, and some of them more or less agreed that the reason that they're asking that question is because when you're saying that some guys just got to learn and understand that they're just not it, women don't find them sexually attractive, is what it is, and you're not getting none, it's over. Figure out some other way to live, but that is a black pill concept, put it like that. That's a black pill concept. Whereas red pill, most people who would say that they're red pill, they would acknowledge how they will acknowledge that the dating market is skewed, in that I hate to use the term, but female nature is running amok, so to speak, or unchecked, and females are doing what they're doing. Shout out to what the conversation me and Ike had. How he says the warden is no longer on the East Coast, so to speak, or like I say, the inmates running the asylum. Somebody who's red pill will acknowledge that, but they still think that there's a way to work within the framework of it. You can try to make it happen or make it work, but a black pill person says, nope, done, over with. It's no chance. So that for that reason, I would say that you're not black pill, because you would call that quitting. But then you make some arguments where it does sound like well, right now you're definitely saying, hey, you got to accept that it is what it is, and move accordingly.
Well, but see, here's the thing, though. The way you explained it, the black pill guys don't really offer any meaningful alternative. You just quit and kind of die. I'm saying there's gold in their hills. You can make real money being a platonic friend. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not just saying, oh, you just give up and just roll over and die. No. What I'm saying is the sexual lane is cut off to you, but the non-sexual lane can be monetized. You can make big money from that. Think about all the services that women need. Handyman, driver, bodyguard, therapist, counselor, dating coach, all kind of things, babysitter. There's so many different things women need men for that you can monetize. Just think about it. As a matter of fact, I recommend every man here who has been attempted to be. See, I know the reason why women want to friend zone me. I know why. Because I've done my market research. And I suggest that every man listening right now, you need to do your market research. I'm going to help you right now. Here's what you do. You go to those ladies and ask them a very simple question. Would you consider me good male friend material? And then ask them why. Women love questions like this, by the way. They love it. They love asking them questions about what they think and feel about different things, and they tell them to elaborate. Oh my goodness, they'll go on and on and on. That is useful market research. See, I already know the reason why a lot of women would want to friend zone me, because I have a wealth of knowledge and information on just about everything. You don't think I want to monetize the Jesus out of that? Women will pay for that information, fellas. Believe it. And think about the things that you offer. Think about the things that you offer.
Okay, I'm on the effery today. Your dear friend Reg the bad guy says, still wasting your time.
Well, no, I'm not wasting my time. I get paid for what I know. I get paid for it. Women ask me stuff all the time, and I get paid for it. My Cash App, my Cash App, $ Obsidian Radio. Questions are good. Questions with money are even better.
Mm-hmm.
I know the reason why women will want me to be a friend to them. I'm a powerful friend to have. So the question for you, fellas, is why would a woman want you to be their friend? Find out what that is and monetize the fuck out of it. After all, women want to get paid for their sexual companionship. We all know that's true. Instagram is shot through with women like that. Brandon Rashad just recently talked about this, barely a month ago. And they're getting it. So, I mean, hey, why not, monetize your non-sexual companionship?
Jay the Conqueror says, so the goal is to seek friendship and not sex?
No, that's not the goal.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is there are a lot of women who see a lot of men as friends. You can monetize that. Oh, and Silent Lamont, this isn't an age dependent thing. The women that you like to bang, and you're a lot closer to 50 than you want to admit, but the women that you like to bang in the 20s, they want friends too. This has nothing to do with age. This has to do with a simple fact. Most men are not sexually attractive to most women. That's a fact. But most women need most men. That is a fact. Monetize it.
The only thing I will say, even though I'm not me personally, I'm thinking about doing that. However, it is it would be an interesting turn of events if men overall as a group, I would say if the vast majority of men just got lockstep and absolutely said that, if the second you see a woman trying to use you for your non-sexual stuff, if they just instantly said, okay, I see where you're trying to take this thing. I was pursuing you. You're not interested. Great. You're trying to use me for this non-sexual stuff. Pay me.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll do it. Pay me. If men overall on a large scale started doing that would really trip women out. I would love to just see the reaction from women on that. That's what I look at that's what I look at, or that's what I see when I see this. If men started charging women for the non-sexual, almost in the same way or context that women ultimately that men are charged for sex, or men pay for sex. Okay, you're going to pay for the non-sexual. And initially it would be an initial no, hell no. Women would just instantly say that they're not going to do it. But if every guy on a large scale started doing that, and then women started just getting starved out from getting non-sexual attention, it could potentially create a market where they start paying for that guy to just to come, and they sit on the couch and lay their head on his shoulder and tell him all their problems for an hour or whatever. That could very well a market could very well be created out of that, but it would take a large percentage of guys to get in lockstep, and it starts with just simply not accepting the friend zone whatsoever. And women, they would start starving for that non-sexual attention. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, but it would take a large scale collective effort to really pull it off. But Indigenous TV in the building says the friend zone, aka triple a ball. What? Friend zone, aka triple a ball. Many a simp have gone there in hopes of one day getting that call up to the majors, only to have their hopes dashed by a female. I avoided the zone by way of pump and dump. Shout out to Indigenous TV. Shout out to you. I got too many.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want. Everything? Everything.
And he says you can be put on child support for babysitting. I think I heard a crazy story like that, but by and large, I don't think that that's true. But I did hear some crazy story.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
That's wild. Shout out to. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. We got. Dun, 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 dun. Nolan Baptiste in the building says it's been proven men and women aren't designed to be friends because both genders are just made to have sex and make children to continue humanity. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, I generally agree to that with that to some degree. Yeah, they're not designed to be friends. It just typically does not work. Even though, like I said, I had some coworkers who almost by force of working within a 5-foot radius of the person, we started talking and we got cool. But overall, it was one time she even invited me out on some friendship stuff, and it was some buddy friend stuff, and I said hell no. So I don't do that. You're being a loser if you're doing that. We shout out to you. Also, shout out to Sick Lig. Bill Gates had a non-sexual friendship with his very smart 70-year-old ex-girlfriend. She did not break up his marriage. Thank you for the $10 super chat. That's interesting. I got to look more into Bill Gates' situation. I slept on the news cycle when it leaked out that he had something going on with somebody else. And who else? God damn it! I know I saw some super chat. He says it's time, Bernard. You trying to get out of your timeout? You trying to get your wrench back? Now I ain't gonna even play the whole clip for you. Your wrench is on Mars, buried under 10 pounds of horse shit. If you can just get up there and dig it out, you can have it. All right. No, you might get it back soon. Your buddy, the male feminist guy, I forgot his name. Paco, I believe that's his name, is he's gonna be on the show tomorrow. So I'm announcing that to everyone in attendance right now. Make sure you're here tomorrow, because I will be having a discussion with Paco, as I said, the breakdown of male feminist perspective. We'll be having one-on-one with him tomorrow, so everyone make sure that you're here. Maybe after that discussion with him, perhaps you'll get your wrench back. Your timeout has been long enough. Your behavior has been quite well. So yeah, you may become back a part of the crew. But all right, Legend Skinner in the building says, women paying for a man's non-sexual attention is not a far-fetched concept, I should say. There are women who pay male escorts for the boyfriend experience. Absolutely.
And you can get paid for that too.
Mm-hmm. Also, we got Silent Lamont in the building. He said, oh man, I'm 41 on Monday, but look 25, so we still batting well here. But you're right about one thing. I am in denial. I'm gonna be a DILF, Dad. Shout out to Silent Lamont. Appreciate the super chat. All right.
Anyway, like I was saying, you can get paid to be a +1.
Hold on, real quick. Before you get into that, let me formally shout out my two newest Patreons. You're going to see them scrolling down there at the bottom. This is I don't know what to do with that X, but it says Zodia Yin. Y'all can't see it right now. You'll be able to see it in a second. Zodia Yin. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but thank you for becoming a super chat. Thank you for becoming a Patreon. And Rochard, thank you for becoming a Patreon. I think the Zodiac Yin became a Patreon yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you to all of the new Patreons. Those are the most recent ones right there. But two of them just got added to the list fairly recently. So shout out to all of you. Shout out to all of you who joined the Patreon. Appreciate you. All right, go ahead. You were saying?
No, I was saying that a lot of women will pay for +1s. They've already been proven, and internationally at that, Japan, here in the United States. So, I mean, you can be paid to be a +1. You know, a woman wants you to, attend a certain function with her or something like that. Not only that's no problem with that. Not a problem at all. There's a brother in the chat room asking, why would a woman women would only pay for a select guy for attention? Not true. There's a lot of guys, and Steve Harvey talks about this in his famous book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. As a matter of fact, he breaks down 4 specific guys: the old guy, the ugly guy, the mandingo guy, and the gay guy. And the mandingo guy, as you might have guessed, he's only there to serve one purpose, and that's to, pipe her down real good. But she can't take him to the, out to a nice social somewhere. A lot of women know that there are guys who are really good in bed. They ain't good for nothing else, especially going to nice places where people that they want to impress are going to be. That's where you come in. You got good conversation. You dress well. You express yourself well-mannered. She break you off a couple hundred, no problem.
Yeah, but one would argue if you speak well, he speaks so well. But one would argue that if you speak well, you dress well, purport yourself well, and all of that, it should be a sexual market out there for you. So
I didn't say there wasn't a sexual market. I'm saying there are women. Let's understand something. Steve Harvey's book stayed on a New York Times bestseller list for at least 2 weeks, if not longer. And he has a chapter in his book that talks about this very same thing. It is not at all unusual, especially in Black American life. And let's be honest, that's who he was really talking about. He just doesn't use the words. It is not unusual for Black women to have that mandingo type Negro, the proverbial jawline Negro, whose only purpose is to pipe her down. She don't want to be seen in public with him. Nothing wrong with that. She can pay you to be the +1 at the art gallery opening, and nobody will be the wiser.
Nolan Baptiste, he says, everyone knows that when women have no money to pay a man for a favor, they use sex as payment. What do you guys think about that? Yeah, they use sex as a payment, or they use a possibility.
I was just about to say, thank you. I was just about to say, they use the possibility of sex. But that's not how we roll here. The possibility of sex don't pay your bills, brothers. Cash App, you say, I'll do it, Cash App.
This is funny to me, even though I suspect that you're 100% serious, but to me,
I'm serious as a heart attack.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like Kim circa 1986. I have a question as serious as cancer.
To me, this feels like satire. However, women, and shout out to ARC. But hold on,
that's the thing about yours truly. You never really know if I'm dead serious or I'm just pulling your leg.
But see, here's the thing, though. Shout out to the notorious ARC, who posted a picture of his baby on the community tab. I don't know if he's walking, but he's definitely pulling himself up. I think he was standing up on the picture. Real cute, real cute. Shout out to ARC. Him highlighting the mere fact that women damn near have an insatiable lust for non-sexual attention from men. It is an interesting concept, and outside of the box context, if men really tried to figure out how to monetize that, just like women can more or less monetize the possibility of sex. I at a lower level have seen women, they've monetized that possibility of sex on me, because there's some women that have got some things about me that I'm embarrassed to say. Some of it I'm taking to the grave, but yes, they've monetized that possibility of sex on me. And then shout out to ARC again. He talked about how he was in LA. Some of the women that he was being the bed, I don't know what, some women that he was messing with sexually, they were some really attractive women who they had guys buying them things and sending them out on trips and doing this, or paying a car note for a car that the woman driving around in that the woman never even had sex with. So women know how to monetize guys' insatiable lust for even the possibility of sex. So it is just an interesting concept, because women want that non-sexual attention, I would argue, just as much.
Yep.
They want it just as much. So it is an interesting concept and thought experiment. Even though I do feel like it's satire, it's an interesting concept and thought experiment. Whether or not men could actually, and it would take them, like I said, operating as a collective group, but whether or not men could actually monetize that.
I disagree with you on that point, though, Bernard. And I'm glad you brought it back up again because I almost forgot about it. You said it would have to take the majority or all men or whatever. No, it doesn't. There's a really interesting book by Malcolm Gladwell called The Tipping Point. And he found in his research that you only need 10% to change the course of things. Now, think about what I'm saying here.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump won the election because less than 15% of black men broke away from the Democrat Party and voted for him. We don't need all men doing what I'm talking about. We only need about 10%. That's it.
Yeah, I think 10% would definitely make them notice, but it may take more than that because, okay, if 10% aren't going for it, there's still a relatively high percentage of men out there who they could still get their non-sexual attention needs met from.
Let them go ahead. Do you think that Mercedes-Benz cares that everybody ain't buying a Mercedes-Benz?
Oh, no, I get that part. But what I'm saying is to make it go from a point to where the individual guy who's rejecting the friend zone advances, to make it go from the point to where he's rejecting the friend zone advances, and that's good for him, but to get it to the point to where he could monetize it because now there's a market for it, that would take you're right in that it wouldn't take all. It would just have to be some degree of scarcity. If 50%, put it like this, if 50% of the guys that they attempted to friend zone was like, pay me, then I think then it would definitely be a short shot market.
But let's look at that for a moment. So from Steve Harvey's book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, in the third chapter called What the Three Things Every Man Needs. He says this, the ugly one. He'll go above and beyond the call of duty to help you out. He'll take the kids to their lessons after school, run you down to the grocery store, wash the car on the weekends, babysit the cat. Think about all this. These are all monetizable things here.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that when you make it known that you want to be paid for all of that, she's not going to do it? That's fine. But there'll be a woman out there who will.
Right.
And now with the internet, think of the opportunity. Think of the opportunities. Think of the possibilities. There's so many women that need a man friend for something. Oh, by the way, I am going to be making a series of ads on this. That's coming up. Series, yeah. Why not?
All right, Big Sad back in the building with the $50 super chat. Definitely appreciate you. And
$50. So that makes you rich?
It's a start.
appreciate you, Big Sad. And I think that definitely gets you a signed copy of the Book of Obsidian, but I'll let Obsidian explain that after I read the super chat. Follow-up question, he says, I've had some women take a break from a relationship and call me up. Yep, it happens all the time. For an extensive role in the hay. Yep, been there. While in relationships, there was nothing going on, but when the break came about, it was on. Would that, in a way, be cheating?
No, because she took a break from the relationship. The relationship was literally on hold.
Yeah, if they technically broke, okay. Some women would try to finesse that in that, yeah, they had a little argument. They not talking. They had an argument on Thursday, so that means she was free to do a lot of fucking throughout the weekend. And then on Monday, okay, I think we need to talk. Nah, she kind of was. It depends on how clean of a break it was. How clean of a break I mean, how clean of a breakup it was. If it was a truly clean breakup, then nah, you can't really say nothing. But if y'all just had an argument and just went, 36 hours without talking, and then she had 3 threesomes in 36 hours, then nah, she just wanted, don't. Yeah, it is what it is.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about they take a break from their relationship. It was, over for that period of time. Then no, there's no cheating there. Cheating means that you're actively in a relationship with somebody. There's no break. There's no, pause. There's none of that. And she has sex with someone else. Yeah, that would be cheating.
But by that logic, Obsidian, a chick can be like, "What? You left the toilet seat up again? I'm through with you." Go storming out of the house and go have a threesome, and then show up 36 hours later with her panties on backwards.
Well, that's on the guy. That's on the guy if he takes her back. That's on him.
But the question on the table is that cheating? And so in situations like that,
I don't want to be bothered anymore. Storms off. I interpret that as she don't want to be bothered no more. That's how I interpret it.
If I'm the guy, I'm treating that no different than if she cheated on me. If she let an argument and a storm out and show up missing for 36 or 48 hours, and during that 36, 48 hours, she had sex with somebody else because in her storming out, she said, "I'm through with you," but then she came right back 48 hours later. No.
Okay. I don't want to be.
I'm treating it like she cheated.
I don't want to be with a woman that's emotionally unstable. That is a sign of emotional instability. I don't want to be with a woman like that. I'm not telling other men what to do. I don't want to be with a woman like that. If she cannot handle,
so you'll break up with her for the emotional instability, but not the threesome.
I would never be with her to begin with.
True. Okay, fair enough.
So I'm saying, and again, this comes back to the guys. Who are you with, man? If you're with, see, a lot of brothers don't want to admit this. This goes to the thought content piece. A lot of guys don't want to admit that they get with women that are emotionally unstable. And I'm sorry, not all women are emotionally unstable, fellas. I know that.
We get that, but he has
not all women are emotionally unstable. All women don't come unglued over just the little things of life. I'm sorry, that's just not true.
Nobody was saying that that's true.
No, they are saying it in the chat room. I'm sorry, fellas. We get to choose. You get to pick which women you want to be with. You get to pick. And if you find out that if the majority of the women in your life are thought type women, OnlyFans type girl type women, stuff like that, whose fault is that? See,
that is a fair point, but that's not. I don't know why even go to that point if the question that was put on the table. I guess I'll pull it up again. The question that was put on the table is, I've had women. Okay, well, I'm gonna skip down to the end. While in a relationship, there was nothing going on, but when the breakup came, it was on. Would that, in a way, be cheating? Okay, that's what was put on the table. Basically, if she's having sex with somebody else during the break, during a break, would you look at that as cheating? I say I would, depending on the nature of the breakup. Now, if we did a clean, clear, precise breakup, then no, you technically can't consider that cheating. But what I was just pointing out, that what some women, not all, hashtag not all, but what some women will do, they would use a not so clear breakup as an opportunity to say we weren't together, and then now they can go do what they wanted to do and then come back on Monday. I was just pointing that out, that's the slippery slope area.
And those are women that are emotionally unstable, and I don't want to be bothered with.
Of course, we get that part, but I was just pointing out I was identifying the slippery slope area when it comes to that.
So maybe
she had sex with somebody else. She had sex with somebody else during the breakup.
So maybe the better
you have to truly examine that breakup and why it happened and how brief the breakup was.
So maybe
depending on that, that is how you could determine whether or not she just cheated versus y'all just legitimately wasn't together and it ain't none of your business what she did.
So how about this? Maybe the better question is, how discerning are you as a man with the kind of women that you deal with?
That's a good topic and good discussion, but I don't think that necessarily has anything to do with his question.
No, and it has everything to do with it. I mean, why are you having sex with a woman that you have to kind of ask yourself, well, did she really break up with the guy? She didn't break up with the guy. Why are you even doing that? Why is that?
I don't. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that. But his question, per the answer to his question, I was explaining the possible slippery slope in that situation. How some
Right.
women,
So why would
and
you
in the event that you've come to find that you are with a woman like that, you need to not be with a woman like that. I think we all agree with that.
Right. So why even be on the slippery slope to begin with? See, a lot of guys, I'm speaking to the psychology here. We know science that men are much less picky about having sex than women are. We know that. We know that men will lower their standards significantly to have sex than women do. Maybe that's something men need to work on. Maybe.
Yeah, I think we generally agree on. Yeah, we agree on that.
Have higher standards, fellas. The world ain't going to end because you didn't bust a nut today. You'll live.
Big said in the building with another super chat. Shout out to him. And I don't even know if you. Let me see. Big said just earned yourself a wrench. Let me see. I can't even find you. Where you at? I don't know if you already had. Nope. Okay, you are a part of the wrench squad. Shout out to you. Appreciate you coming through with the super chat. But he says, to be clear, I met the woman knowing she's sexually attracted to you, but wait for the right opportunity. Yep, and that's kind of what I was getting at. And that goes back. Well, it goes back to the statement that was made before. Okay, the woman at the job who has a boyfriend or is married, but there's a guy who she knows wants to pipe her down. And that's why he's giving her all that attention. And she's receiving all of that attention. And she's flattered by all of that attention. But she isn't giving him an open window or an open door. The question that was asked earlier is, do you consider that woman to be cheating? Now, you agreed that woman is cheating if she's receiving all that flattering attention from this guy that she knows that wants to have sex with her. And so what he did, he took it a step further. Okay, what if that woman is your woman and you and your woman, y'all have a really brief breakup, and then she go and take that as an opportunity to go and have sex with that guy, over the weekend, and then come back on Monday? Would you still consider that cheating? I say absolutely yes. You're saying that if it was a breakup, it was a breakup.
Yes, but I'm proceeding on the assumption that we're dealing with emotionally stable adults. And what the scenario is bearing out through our conversation is that the woman in question may not be emotionally stable. And what you just mentioned just a second ago is another scenario. Why are you even considering having sex with anybody you work with?
I don't know if that was where okay, well, you're right. In Big said situation, we got so many different conversations all over the place now. In that situation, said that the woman wasn't a woman in question that he was working with. There was just a woman who came and had sex with him when her and her man.
No, that's what you mentioned, though.
Had a problem. I was talking about it from the perspective of I was the guy who was with a woman, and I've never been in this situation, so it's a hypothetical. But it was a hypothetical that's saying that if a woman has a boyfriend and she also has a guy at the job who flatters her and she receives all that flattering attention. So I wasn't the guy in question in either of these situations.
Hang on a second. There's a gentleman in the chat room named Low Key V who says this dude, and I assume he's talking about yours truly, this dude has no life experience with women. It's so obvious. Is that right, Low Key V? Well, how about this? Bernard, would you mind dropping the link for Mr. Low Key V? Mr. Low Key V, how about you come up and tell me exactly how little life experience I have with the ladies? Please explain it to all of us in front of the class, Mr. Low Key V. I want to hear this. I want you to explain to me how little life experience I have, and we'll compare notes, Mr. Low Key V. Fair enough?
Low Key V, the link is in the chat. Should you wish to come up and explain to Obsidian how limited his experience with women is.
In the meantime, Big said, please contact yours truly at theobsidianfiles@gmail.com so you can claim your autographed signed copy of the Book of Obsidian. Big said 658. Please contact yours truly at theobsidianfiles@gmail.com to claim your copy of the Book of Obsidian. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I saw Silent Lamont with a super chat. Silent Lamont in the building says, "Old man be arguing with himself." Let me ask myself a question.
That's not very funny.
That's a little funny. Let me ask myself a question. That is actually funny.
No, that's not very funny.
Yeah. Well, okay. I think people are supposed to ask themselves questions, but the way he put it is funny.
It's what's known as try hard. Go ahead, please proceed.
Yes. We also got on the super chat, and Big Poke Dog says, "Salute, gentlemen." Big Poke Dog in the building with a name like Big Poke Dog. I know you part of the $10 nation.
What do we get for $10?
Everything you want.
Everything?
Everything. You.
All right, we are at almost a 2-hour mark. So at this point, the link is in the chat for anybody who wants to come on up and have your say on this. We put it in there for Low Key V.
And I would prefer people who have read the column first, and we can actually discuss that instead of discussing everything but the column and the top. So I would prefer, it's over 3,000 words. I want you to sit down and read it first. It's over 3,000 words on purpose. Read the column first, then come up and we can discuss it. I'm not interested in talking about anything else. That's the topic. So there it is. This is not the chop it up hour. Okay? You want to try out your improv skills? Go to Second City and do that. The comedy club. Go ahead. Best of luck to you. You want to talk about your ideas of what dating and mating should be? Go get your own show. Or better yet, go and hit up Bernard and pitch him some ideas. That's what I do. And maybe your idea will work out well. We're here to talk about the topic. 3,000 word article. Read it. And then come back and we can discuss it. I'm not interested in discussing anything else. Thank you.
No, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Y'all can come up. I'm wrapping it up at about 12 noon. I'm wrapping it up at 12 noon. So for the last 30, well, yeah, it was 11:25. Yeah, for the last 30 minutes, anybody can come up. That's where I'm at with it. Anybody can come up for the last 30 minutes. Obsidian, you said you're going live on your channel at 12. We're going right after this.
Yeah, whenever we get finished here, then we'll go live.
All right, so start getting it ready for 12 at 12 noon. Start getting it ready for 12 noon. But for the rest of the way, if somebody want the link, you could definitely take the link. All right. Who is that? Oh, Before the Billions. I like that name, Before the Billions. He said, "Salute to you guys. Thank you for the content. Absolutely appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you coming through." Loki V. He says, you tout being non-select and sums up the experience in itself. LOL. I don't know exactly what he means by Loki V. Have you ever joined a panel? Answer yes or no on that. Have you ever joined a panel? Just give me a quick yes or no on that before you type anything else. But he says, you tout being non-select that sums up the experience in itself. Okay, I see what he's saying there. What do you think? Okay, let's examine that. Okay, yeah.
Why should we examine something from somebody who's not man enough to step up front?
Well, I mean, I've asked you a similar question on
yeah,
that.
but we're talking right now. I'm talking to men that actually are man enough to step up front. Money seats in the front, brothers. Leaders lead from the front. You know what the link is. Come on up.
Answer yes or no to that question, Loki V. Answer yes or no to the question. I just curious. Okay, he said he's working. He can't jump on. But have you ever?
What that means he should be focused on his work then, and not be using his boss's dime to be talking trash from the chat room, right? With your non-productive self. See, that's the problem right now. More black men need to be focused on their productivity instead of watching YouTube. If you're going to be working, then work. I'm working right now. This is what I do for a living. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Nobody's coming up. So okay, so what where's the next place to go with this thing? We've talked about the notion, the idea of men monetizing women's non-sexual, women's desire, women's insatiable lust for non-sexual attention. Shout out to Alan Roger Curry, who really changed the way that I view male-female social dynamics on that one. That was in his book, but most people regard as his at least I think most people regard as his best book, or maybe the Beta Male Revolution. People fight with him on mode 1, but the possibility of sex, that one is pretty much undefeated. Nobody can even attempt to try to poke a hole in the possibility of sex. That literally changed the way that I view male female social dynamics and everything, and because I just didn't dawn on me at all that how much women actually desired that non-sexual attention. That changed the way I looked at everything. And so it's an interesting concept with a hint of satire, but the notion that we could that men who, as you would say, that are in the more non-select realm, even though I think guys on the more select side of things, guys who do get access to casual sex, still often get put in the friend zone or attempted to be put in the friend zone all the time. I mean, women are all over the place with it. They could have a certain level of interest in you, and then that interest can drop down, and then you can go from somebody who she was considering very quickly to somebody who she's just asking to come and move some furniture around. So the notion of guys across the board, or like you said, 10%, I would say it would take probably 25% of men to really move the needle to where it can actually turn into a market of men who actually get paid to provide those non-sexual services. And so it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, Alan Roger Curry really did really move the needle in a big way, because instead of going in a direction of sexual stuff, he went in the direction of non-sexual stuff, and that's very important. You think about, if you sit down and think about all our interactions with women, even prolific womanizers like Alan, if you think about it for a minute, all of your interactions with women are not going to be sexual. The vast majority of your interactions with women are going to be non-sexual, even if you're a womanizer like him. Think about if you just add up all the interactions you can have with women in a 24-hour period, all of them are not going to be sexual. In fact, the vast majority of them are not going to be sexual. They're going to be non-sexual. All I'm simply saying is for us to recognize that and to act accordingly. That's it. And I take in what Alan has said a step further. When you read my article, you'll see why. I've taken what he's introduced a step further, steel manning it with actual science, and steel manning it with actual marketplace dynamics. Men have tremendous non-sexual monetary value to women. It's not women's fault that men don't capitalize on it. It's men's fault that men don't capitalize on it because they're still holding on to, get ready now, the possibility of sex. Let it go and monetize your non-sexual companionship. But that takes a degree of discipline now, doesn't it?
Would it really take discipline if they not exactly getting? It take discipline for somebody who's actually getting sex.
But that doesn't explain guys who try to rape women. Then, right? I'm not saying people are rapists. My point is that a lot of guys don't want to accept that women ain't digging them like that. Let that go and move on to something else. And you can do it. You know, a lot of people think that evolution means, you know, that it's fixed in stone and you can't change it. That's not true. You can change all of these things, but you have to be deliberate about it.
Mm-hmm. I muted you up, Mel. You have some background noise or whatever. So, real quick, before I go to the gentleman who hopped on the panel to chop it up, Deadly Raver in the building, says, getting here late, so here's a 10 for the dynamic duo. You know you got it, so keep doing it. Shout out to Deadly Raver in the building. Shout out to Deadly Raver. Mr. Shane Vicious in the building. He says 1 ARC, 2 ARC, 3 ARC. Shout out to Mr. Shane Vicious. Appreciate you.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
All right. Mel, go ahead. You got the floor. You got the mic.
How you doing, everyone? Yeah.
Doing great. All
right. I would say Obsidian, he might have a good idea. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact that you know what the guys probably might be pushing you back, Obsidian. It's the same way they did with Alan Roger Curry. It's making dudes stop being verbal cowards and being straight direct with their attention. And technically, most of us want to have sex with women, but they put us in, most women put most guys in certain categories, and so they go do that route, the indirect route. But now they waste their time and sometimes their money and not getting what they want. So you know what? It's time to be more one in this way. Yo, you want to put me in the friend zone? I gotta charge you for it. My service per hour is this much. You want me to hug you? There'd be extra for this much. You want me to help you clean at this much? You want me glorify you? Say men ain't this and that. You gotta charge extra for this much. I mean, hey, shit. There's females that be charging dudes just to cuddle with them.
I don't see why not.
Might as well, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know.
They're women that just want to come home from work and want somebody to listen to them talk about their day. You can charge them for that. Be a de facto therapist. You know, and listen, take notes and stuff. Yeah, ask them good questions. What happened now? You know, really, what happened after that? You know what I mean? You know, a lot of women like to do that.
I wouldn't be surprised. It might be already happening right now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It might be at the small numbers, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. You did the research.
Because if you think about what Alan Roger Curry often says, and he said this numerous times over the years, that all he's offered to a woman is, the BJC. Mm-hmm. That means there ain't gonna be no cuddling, there ain't gonna be no kissing, there ain't gonna be no after talk, all the rest of it. A lot of women, they want to talk. Mm-hmm. So I mean, okay, great. They pay you to talk. I mean, they pay you to listen, rather. You know, they often say that men aren't very good listeners. You got a great incentive to be a great listener now because you're getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, Alan Roger said himself, he used to get paid for phone sex. Along also too, he made a lot of money doing it. So
exactly. So I mean, there's a lot of different things, and like I said, the idea that if you're not the kind of guy that's a leading man, you can't get paid for your services, bull crap, bunk. Women need all kind of men, all the time. You think the guy that's doing all the painting is a select hunk? No.
Yep.
Women need all kinds of men, so stop it. All you have to do is this is just basic business, man.
And
Just
it's perfectly legal too.
Yeah.
It's not like the sex worker route. Yeah, but it's illegal. You get caught, you get arrested. No, it's perfectly legal. There's no sex involved.
Yeah. So it's not hard at all, man. Thanks so much for that. I appreciate
it. I mean, the only negative part about that is, will men be able to hold back their urges to want to try to get sex, even through that route also too, even if they're getting paid for it? You know what I'm saying? Or they really separate the money from trying to get the sex.
By the way, there are guys in the chat room talking about, so you want to make the woman pay for it? We don't make anybody do anything. This is a free market economy. It's a free market economy. If a woman doesn't want to pay a particular price for your services or whatever, that's great. She's free not to.
Oh man, they're projecting that friend zone hope.
I beg your pardon?
They're projecting, when they ask that, what they just made you respond to, they're projecting that friend zone hope. That's all that is.
Well, I don't know what that is, but in any event, yeah, there's this idea that women won't pay for unattractive men. That's not true. So let me get this straight. The plumber is a really hot hunk guy, right? So is the guy who does the drywall for you. The guy that gets the doo-doo out and make the doo-doo go down the drain. They're all just hunks, right? They're all George Clooney clones and Michael Ealy. Stop it. Stop it. You need all kinds of men in your life, ladies. Pay up, ante up.
Last year just proved that with the lockdowns. How many single females out there feeding for men now to be with them at home?
Real quick, fellas, Wiggly Talk Universe says, like he said, you don't know when he pulling your leg or serious, so why stand on any side? Men, create your own reality and just enjoy these shows. Thank you, Wiggly Talk, for the super chat. Let's see. Oh, we got a little. I don't know how. We got a little Big Nate was on the panel. Look, I never saw you be this quiet, little Big Nate. Melody, post from your other channel. Your channel, you got two different channels. That's not the name that you got a wrench over here with is not your channel that you actually use. So post on that one so I can give you a wrench on that one so you can be over here on the channel that you actually use for your channel.
You know what, Bernard? There's a really good point from a brother in the chat room named Dark Knight. He says, it's funny how when black men talk about empowering other black men, the main ones to push back comes from black men. See, you said earlier that you felt that a significant portion of black men would have to do what I'm proposing in order for black women to, I guess, change their behavior or whatever. But I think what the Dark Knight is saying is closer to the truth. See, I don't think the problem is going to come from women. I think it's going to come from other guys. And the reason why I think it's going to come from other guys is because what I'm proposing is really disconcerting to a lot of guys. And this goes back to the psychological research. A lot of guys think that they're more, that they think that women are more sexually attracted to them than they really are. And a lot of guys, it's too big of a hit to the ego to admit that that's just not true. It's just not true. Me Too was predicated on that. That was the whole point of Me Too.
Hey Bernard, can I chime in?
Oh yeah, I definitely about to throw it to Little Big Nate, but yeah, go ahead, Little Big. I was about to say something in response to what Obsidian said.
Sure,
go ahead, Little Big Nate, you got it. No, you got it.
I have to be honest, but I don't have a lot to add on this conversation. I just
I'm shocked.
Okay, that's great. I have an announcement. You can keep the sarcasm to yourself, sir. But Lasher Deviants Gaming is home. Okay. He's home after his second heart transplant. He hopped up on my chat on Tuesday to the shock of everybody. And we've been texting each other. He is home. He is healthy. The operation was a success. And man, I just wanted to let everybody know. He so greatly appreciated everybody's prayers, all the cash apps that was sent. And he's home. He's home, y'all. And he so greatly appreciated how so many people coalesced around him, all the kind words, all the prayers, man. He so greatly appreciated it. And there's a good chance, again, he came home yesterday. I said, man, are you ready to come up and talk? He said, he may be. He may come up tonight on my show this evening on the Little Big Nate show. So, just wanted to let everybody know about that. And I appreciate it, Bernard. You let me come up.
No doubt. Yeah, absolutely. I saw he actually was because when I was on the Prophet of Thought series last night, he posted.
Oh, he came through.
Yeah.
Good.
He came through, and yeah, we acknowledged him there. So yeah, we glad to see him back in the swing of things. So definitely.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, man, Bernard. Well, I appreciate it, bro. Y'all take care, man.
Yeah, go ahead and drop your link if need be. For the few people not subscribed to Little Big Nate, make sure you go check him out. Check him out later tonight. You got to be closing in on 1,000 by now. You're creeping up on it.
Yeah, I'm about 100 away from 1,000.
Yeah.
25 streams in. I got over 9,500 watch hours, which, from what I understand, is insane.
Yeah.
That for a new channel for it to be watched that much. So thank you for everybody that comes through, man. It's some of the most compelling talk anywhere in this space. So please come through and check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Peace.
Yeah, very good news. Please send my best to Lasher Devious Gaming.
Thank you. I absolutely will, gentlemen.
God bless
Have
you,
a good day, man, and be safe.
Yeah, Bernard.
Obsidian.
Yeah.
Guess what? It's a website called rentafriend.com.
Yeah, there's a lot of this going on out there on the internet. There's a whole lot of it. So that's what I'm saying. And it's interesting that you brought that up, Mel, because another gentleman from the Peanut Gallery, Mr. Shane Vicious, says, "Oh man has some interesting theories when it comes to dating, but very little success with most of this stuff." Rendergent, what the brother Mel just mentioned, you can go online and type all this stuff out and see it in real time. It's only in Black America with black men, because too many black men have big egos. And they don't want to admit that the majority of the women that you're checking for ain't checking for you. See, a lot of brothers can't let that go. White folks are already doing this. It's already working in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's brothers that got the big ego. I'm sorry, man. Not all sisters dig you like that. Sorry. Now what? I'm trying to give you a way out, brothers. A financial way out. A way to get your money up. I'm trying to help you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh like that, but it's funny when you think about it. Shout out to Sweet Melody Speaks. That's the channel she does her content on. So yeah. So now because I noticed that's the name I see on everybody else's channel, but on mine you normally post with your other one because that's the only one you got a wrench with over here. So I was just clearing that up so you can not the wrong one. All right, thank you for the super chat. I may temporarily remove Sister George's suspension because she wanted to come up and interrogate your position on this, because I think her position is no woman is going to pay a non-select guy anything.
That's bunk.
All right, Sister George, your suspension is temporarily removed. You can come up and interrogate the old man.
They will when their looks start declining.
On this.
That's bunk. That's a ridiculous statement.
If a lot of guys, come together and started charging, then they have no choice but to pay them. But if you like one or two guys,
you only need 10%.
Exactly. Just have to start the
you only need 10%.
Domino effect.
You only need 10%.
All right.
And for Mr. Shane Vicious, who says he doesn't even deal with black women anyway, then how do you know what the daggle do or don't do? How do you know?
What the daggle do or don't do? It's a lot of D's. All right.
How do you know?
Okay, Sister George, you can go ahead and levy your objection to what it. Well, before you do that, hold on. Snuggles in the building. He says, "I'm gonna need y'all to play my stuff," and I don't know why men do not use what Obsidian is talking about. They could find other ways to find different women. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Snuggle. Snuggly softness. That's really less expensive.
All right, Sister George, you can go ahead and interrogate Obsidian's position on this.
Hard to do if she's never read my article.
Okay.
She can respond to exactly what you've said here.
Well, no. Have you read my article?
No.
So
But
how
the
can you
position
interrogate?
that you're
So how can you interrogate what I'm going to say? How can you interrogate my position?
Well, I can interrogate your position because I can talk about human nature and what humans do. Even with ARC talking about no free attention, there are certain things that most men aren't going to do, and like not acknowledging that something is pretty or beautiful. Women can read body language. We can tell when men find us attractive versus non-attractive, which is still you giving us some form of attention, and that's still giving us some form of validation. You're saying that women are going to start paying for attention from non-attractive men, and
that's not what I said. See, this is what I'm talking about
here this morning.
This is what I'm talking about, Bernie. I said, please read my article before you come up here.
Well, there are other people that came up to the panel that didn't read your article.
It's
that
paying. Whoa, stop. The what was said is basically paying for the whole friend zone thing. The women put the guy in the friend zone, and they. Okay, well, I'll let you go ahead and restate what you said.
It's all there in the article.
So you're telling Bernard to read your article too?
Yes, 3,600 words.
Okay. Well, if you're talking about women paying men or men getting paid while they're in the friend zone,
that's not what I'm saying.
So what are you saying?
Monetize the non-sexual attention.
It's all in the article, 3,600 words.
Well, I don't have time to read your article right
now
I know while we're up here to have a discussion.
I know you don't.
Okay. So I'm not coming up here to argue with you.
There's nothing to argue about. You didn't read the article.
I'm coming to make the point that women will not pay.
All right, I heard enough. All right. Thank you, Sister George. Thank you. Your suspension going to be over on Monday. It'll be officially over on Monday. All right.
See, I'm not going to respond to points I never made. I never said anything about what she's talking about. Did she even read Steve Harvey's book? I quote him at length in my article. You know, the book that made him a household name as a love doctor. Did she even read that? She's had Alan Roger Curry on her show as a featured guest. Has she read his book? Has she read Dr. Buss? These are the people that I cite in my article. And those are just a few of the sources. That's not the argument that I'm making here. I'm not making the argument that women are going to pay guys just for their time, just to hang out with them. Not necessarily. I'm talking about offering real world value. Read the article.
All right. Mr. Shane Vicious says, did he just compare the Daggle to Japanese women? I don't know.
No, I didn't. You compared the Daggle to the women that you don't deal with, who are non-black.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Thank you, Mr. Shane Vicious. He says, black female Fukurie versus Obsidian Fukurie, round 1.
What kind of Fukurie is there? See, notice that the people who have so much to say don't read the article. I want you to read and then come back and have an actual discussion based on what you read, not what you heard, not what you think, not what you believe, not what you feel, what I actually wrote, and then discuss it. Read it first.
All right. NYC Songman in the building says Centimeter Network answer to that today's dating mating is different piece. Thusly, women have always been ruthless in the pursuit of their goals and goals, aims, and interests.
That's right. That's correct. Women, by the way, women don't choose men to be in their life by accident or happenstance. They're very strategic, ruthlessly strategic about it. You're not just there just to be there. You're there for a specific purpose. Whatever that purpose may be, sexual or non-sexual, got no problem with that. The problem is that men are not as strategic. Got to stop thinking with your dick. That's not women's fault. That's your fault.
All right, you got your stream up ready to go, more or less, Obsidian?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a heck of a show.
All right, go ahead and drop the link to it because everybody can just transition right on over there because I'm pretty much tapped out of this conversation at this point. So we can.
I'm gonna drop down, brothers. Thank you for having me up, y'all.
Thank you.
All right, have a good day, y'all.
Appreciate it. Thank
Peace,
you.
and peace, old man.
Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna have a heck of a show today.
Yeah, what's going to be your topic?
Does Kevin Samuels owe the Black Manosphere reparations? That's the burning question on the docket. Does Kevin Samuels owe the Black Manosphere reparations? Is that the argument? I mean, let's just get right to it. You know, the argument is that Kevin Samuels is a kind of carpetbagger who has stolen from everyone, including the lady from Seattle. So we're going to have the conversation today. Since it's clear that everybody loves to pocket watch him, I mean, clearly he's got the money to make a good payout, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. Going to be a heck of a show.
Yeah. My 2 cents thoughts on that. I don't know where you're going to go with that, but I mentioned this before. I think it was yesterday, for that matter, when I was talking about people making a big deal out of things that don't make no sense. Oh, well, he didn't shout out the Manosphere when he was on the No Jumper podcast, and yes, they got more subs, so yeah, they appear to be bigger than them, but in terms of live views, he's bigger than them, and like so. He's mentioned and shouted out the Manosphere, shouted out O'Shea, shouted out you. He mentioned you from time to time. He mentioned you, I would say a lot. He mentions your channel on there. He mentions mediocre tutorials and reviews. He mentions a lot of people on his platform that's bigger than these other platforms that they're asking a question. Why didn't he go shout out the Manosphere over there? And when it comes to people like O'Shea, mediocre tutorials and reviews, people who have bigger channels, who have put in the work or made it to a certain level of success. Yes, he does. He in many ways attaches his name to them. Now, he's not going to, I don't want to offend him, I'm not going to name a name, but there's certain people that I understand he wouldn't want to be attaching his brand to. That makes sense. But those who have built themselves to a certain level to where he could stand next to it, or he don't mind them standing next to him, I don't think he has a problem acknowledging and shouting that out. But you don't want to understand. He don't necessarily want to come down into. He don't want to put his name or his brand on certain things like that. So I don't know. I don't know the route you're going to go with it, but I think people are generally tripping. I think people are generally tripping on that. You know.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about it in a few minutes. So it's going to be a heck of a show. Head on over to the channel. Y'all know where I'm at. Obsidian Media Network 2. So come on in.
All right. And with that said, we're about to wrap this bad boy up and get up out of here. I'd like to thank everybody for everybody who liked, shared, subscribed, super chatted, cash app, or just sit there and watched in indifference and didn't even hit the like button. I appreciate you. Sister George, your suspension was temporarily removed. You came up and I didn't like your tone. You got to watch your tone or you're going to be back on suspension. Not just playing. All right. All right, we out of here, y'all. Peace. Oh, and tomorrow, make sure you're here tomorrow. We'll be having Paco, the guy that was on the breakdown.
It's been a hard time, me and him online, and so I'm glad he's going to be with you tomorrow. Maybe I can chime in tomorrow with that. Good money.
All right, we are out of here. Peace.
All right, peace. Thank you.